Zen and the other similar tile set always get me, man. Yeah, okay, this is Zen. Alright. Game number 1 coming up as my ears pop and make a really weird, echoey effect in my head. Oh, God. I am so scared that all the mucus and stuff from being sick has not gone away appropriately as it should, like sicknesses usually do. You get sick, then you get recover, and that's it, alright? That should be it. I'm seriously afraid that it's like sticking around and going to cause an ear infection. And that would just really not be cool. Oh, it's so weird hearing it pop. Alright, hello everyone. Brand new best of 3. I know that was the fantastic way to intro the series. In the top right on Zen, it is going to be the Red Zerg. Still playing for Psystorm. He is true. In the bottom left, you might remember him from the good old days, but he has been playing StarCraft for at least the past year and a half since coming back from military. It is the Blue Terran, Tasia, who actually is on Team Liquid. Also a bit of a surprise. Every time I'm like, is Tasia around? Is he doing something? What's happening? I always assume that he has stopped being on Team Liquid. Now, as I say that, I am curious if that was actually a signing or more of a... I don't know, I don't know how to put it. I think that was an actual signing. Not that I know, like, I know the details of the contract or anything, but I know he uses the overlay, and he does still actually go by Team Liquid's Tasia. Oh, well. They seem to be actually pretty good friends. I didn't think... I did not know that Tasia and True knew each other. Crank knows basically every Korean, so that makes a lot of sense, but... And I guess, I mean, it makes sense that every Korean pro gamer know every... You know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize they were so damn friendly. Lots of chitter-chatter. I wonder if Tasia ever got one of those Marvel X-Team Liquid shirts. I don't know. They probably only save those for the real Team Liquid players, the CSGO team. Just kidding. Team Liquid loves all of its children equally, but it doesn't care for StarCraft. I hope some people out there are Arrested Development fans. Alright. So third hatchery comes down. Tasia. We're going to be a lot more interested in what Tasia does. True can definitely turn on the aggression. That's definitely not a problem with this guy. So I don't want to say we're only paying attention to what Tasia does, but usually at this point we're waiting to see, hey, third CC, starport. It is going to be a starport. We got a second gas already on the way. But those questions have to be answered. Obviously, it's not a 2-1-1. And Tasia's not just throwing away a game by going for 2 or 3 racks. Wow, his Reaper is doing more than I thought it did. Some good counter micro by True, too, though. I don't think it actually killed anything. Besides a couple lings. Oh, boom! Gotcha! That was a weak Reaper, so I guess True thought he could get away with that, but nope! And that's kill on the first Creep Tumor is quite nasty. Okay, True gonna go for a Roach Warren. It almost seemed like it was in response to losing the Creep Tumor. I don't think it was. I think this was his plan. But the Reaper having gotten all up in that main base and seeing the gas continue to be mining would have been suspicious a year, no, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something along those lines. Right now, you are expecting Zerg players to get both, Ling speed, which he has not, as well as Overlord speed was what I was getting to. But the point is, you're expecting them to use that gas for those two things. So, those don't have speed, right? Like, I'm not crazy. Those don't have speed. Move, damn it! So they don't have speed. That's already a tip-off. After about 310, 315, you want to start looking out and being worried as speed continues to still not come. Yeah, they don't have speed. And then you also want to make sure they actually are using the Overlord speed upgrade. The drone count was low, the roaches pop, both things telling him what is truly up, and Tasia is going to have to shift gears a little bit here. He was going to go for a battle cruiser, but decided to add on a Banshee, and that is absolutely the correct response. The Hellions get back in, by the way, and kill a couple more drones, but already very low drone line. With this type of attack that True is doing, you actually don't really need the Hellions. This is a Ling speedless attack. It's a little less dedicated than a true Ling Baneling Ravager, or Ling Roach Ravager attack, sorry. but it can still find SCV damage, which is exactly what True wants to do. Now, I'm surprised that Tasia tries to hold the natural. I would have expected him to just pull the SCVs, wait for the Banshee, and kind of ride the whole thing out. But by doing this, he loses 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 SCVs at least, and 2 mules, which I think might be a little bit unnecessary. The Banshee does come forward and will guarantee the kill on every single one of these units, and that is something to consider. Nothing back at home for True to defend with should more Hellions come across the map or a battle cruiser. But a little surprised Tasia tried to hold that. Maybe if the bunker was actually done from the get-go. Maybe then. Or maybe he just simply miscalculated the size of the map. Either way, it is now 9 SCVs, 10 SCVs killed. Looking for a third one. Gets it! Nicely done. Really getting the best out of what was supposed to be kind of a poor scenario. But keep in mind that True also lost drones. So he was on a low drone count and lost even more, where Tasia was on a normal drone count, SCV count, and lost a few. True has been macroing up behind this, so he is looking better on the economy, but that is one part of many parts of actually playing into the rest of the game. The third CC is on the way. Roaches do not find too much more, just the Hellions. And the battlecruiser should guarantee at least some form of damage done. The Roaches did not get far enough to see the fusion core. They did, actually. So the preparation is kind of there. Spore crawlers are done. Also the Banshee, that's kind of a given. But how many queens are there is the question. 4 queens right now is not too convincing, and they all have to kind of be together as well. So not a lot of creep or injecting going down. Here the 5th one comes now. The 5 queens will shoo that battlecruiser away. It simply just hovers over the drones, abuses the creep or lack thereof. Good thing True does have this connected, and we'll just get out from the third base. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Gets a queen for its troubles as well, perhaps. Nope, refocus fires on top of the drones instead. 9 drones killed on top of the drones the Hellion killed. The Banshee even looking for some action without Cloak, though. Cannot tackle those queens. Roaches actually coming across once again. Kill a supply depot that was making. Find nothing but Hellions. Actually, seriously, nothing but Hellions. The battlecruiser still has a couple seconds to go, about 20 seconds to go. Very slow building unit, and it is a bit of a slaughter for these poor workers. I wouldn't be a worker in this game. 2 more SCVs go down, but that should just be the beginning. Not chasing after the SCVs is still a lot of lost mining time. There we go. A couple more should go down now. 5, 6, 7, 8. What a slugfest. 21 workers killed on the side of Tasia. True has lost 15. That makes sense that he has 30 more workers now because he's also been droning through a lot of this. But now we have 2 battlecruisers. Is that going to be too much? They also have Yamato, so bing, bang, boom. 2 queens immediately dead. 1 battlecruiser still very low, though, makes this not as one-sided of a fight as perhaps it should have been. And True was even trying to adapt to the continued battlecruiser production by building yet another spore crawler. I do think that is quite a wise decision. Also built another one in the main base. He wants to keep his now 77 workers intact. That actually is over droning. That's a bit of a rookie mistake, I would say. I'm being 100% brutal here. That's a rookie mistake. 75 workers is going to oversaturate 3 bases. If a 4th base was on the way, that would make more sense. But a 4th base only now just planted down, and kind of a secret one as well. So transferring drones will be a dangerous task. Hellions come into the natural now and are going to help True be oversaturated. Take care of 7, 8 drones for you, easy peasy. 7 drones go down, a couple run over here, 2 battlecruisers come back in. No, sorry, 3 battlecruisers, 1 being very, very low. I'd love a bugle call down, that would be amazing. They see the Lings very, oh my god, this is so sad. Slow Lings go across the map to try and initiate a counterattack. Now, the battlecruisers, I don't think they're taking that seriously so much as they are realizing their time might be up. Spore crawlers are there, queens are around. It's a little dangerous, especially for that 1 battlecruiser. That is very low. But a 4th battlecruiser is on the way. Tasia has also added on some factories. These Lings, surprisingly obnoxious. Lots of lost mining time, despite having Hellions. That's, oh my god, that's 12 queens! Holy shit, when did he get so many queens? Like 5 queens were here. Oh, that was close. Spreading creep, I guess, so that suddenly queens. That was a bit scary, but even with 11 queens, their attacks just simply do not pierce the hull of the battlecruiser armor, which you're usually upgrading at this point, but it's been such a wacky, weird game that there are only the armories coming down now, so I mean, base battlecruiser armor is still pretty good. Corruptors are now on the way, and that is a much bigger problem for Tasia, who is not really dug into his factory production so much. Only a couple tanks now on the way. He's gonna have to protect his battlecruisers with missile turrets, and fortunately that is a superb option. That's actually a really good option. You usually have a couple excess minerals anyways, and the tanks will keep the roaches away from tearing them down, hopefully. 5th base is also on the way now for True. Weird order of things, but he loses 9 more drones as well. So this gets saturated first, and then this base is gonna get up and running. Whatever works. Tasia is now comfortably on 3 bases. He still has 4 battlecruisers. Please repair that one. I mean, he just deserves it, right? Like, it's been a long, hard day for this battlecruiser commander. Come on. All right, there it is. There it is. Before you leave, can you have a Cat's Caster replay? I don't know how you think that's gonna happen. Yamato went down to kill 1 corruptor before the fight initiated, and that is something worth noting in my opinion. With that many queens, you're going to come across the map. Unfortunately, the creep spread really wasn't the absolute best. It's really going to start now, but it's already, you know, the queens are already making their way across the map. But they will help eventually. At the very least, they'll be able to transfuse, so they walk their slow behinds up to the battlecruisers. Missile turrets seem to be plentiful enough. We have 5 missile turrets soon enough. No Cyclones to help out, though, and that is what's scaring me. The Roaches and Ravagers also pushing through the tank line. Yamatos go down to the Corruptors. Dodges out of the way. The Crows of Bile, which was trying to hit the battlecruiser, now hitting some of those tanks. The Corruptor count not going to be high enough. No transfuses whatsoever. The Queens too late to the party. But are they enough to take care of 4 battlecruisers? I would say no to that as well. Unfortunately, I think the 4 battlecruisers are going to be able to hold the line as True sacrifices kind of everything to do this. All the Queens are dead. He's going to have to replace those. He does have a couple back at home injecting, but his upgrades aren't looking so hot, and he sees that Tasia's 4th base is actually done. He hasn't hit the mineral line of the SCVs as well, so it's 77 workers to 63 still, and with 4 battlecruisers potentially breathing down your neck, this feels like it went a lot better for Tasia, despite True's powerhouse economy behind it. He's simply just kind of stuck on an inferior army as time goes on, especially if Tasia can replace the tanks, maybe build some Cyclones, and certainly replace the missile turrets. He is absolutely, temporarily, depending on the battlecruisers, and if True could take those out with a decent number of Corruptors, then hell, the game is wide open. But True doesn't have that much of a bank. He doesn't have that much of an economy to both get 15 Corruptors as well as a ground army to come across the map and take advantage of it. So Tage is now going to stomp around, feel super protected back at home with his tanks and his planetary, and if worse comes to worse and there are 15 Corruptors ready to go, you teleport out. Easy peasy. Thor is also an anti-air option, clearly. Ooh, that's a lot of Corruptors. Oh, should have teleported away a little bit sooner. I actually thought that one battlecruiser died. But luckily, not getting second shot off with the Corruptors. So 4 battlecruisers still, as one just popped out against 19 Corruptors. The Corruptors will absolutely win that, but then that's when we start talking about the Cyclones and the Thors. Which I really feel like Tasia should have produced 30 seconds ago. But he didn't realize how much has been put into the Corruptors, so he might reevaluate with the next production line. There are not a lot of units on the ground, as I was saying, kind of one or the other, and this is kind of the army on the ground. And the Hellions see that, and he should be feeling confident to at least hold on to the game. It was the lives of his precious battlecruisers that were most at stake. But True does not dedicate to it. Scan in the bottom right. I think he had been keeping in mind that his opponent was potentially on 3 bases, and he was like, wait a second. So, bit of a bummer there to see it fully saturated, but also a key target to hit. Nothing to defend except a Queen, and there are 4 Hellions coming through. No Blue Flame on the way because it's a bit of an unnecessary upgrade. That's going to be for later after upgrades and tanks and all that have come down. But 4 Hellions will do the trick if they are being targeted, and they kind of sometimes are. So, drone line's going to be barbecued. 5th base now on the way for Tasia. This line of tanks is looking intimidating on the mini-map. Could be broken with a couple different directions of Ravagers, but True not going into Ravagers at all. He has an actual air army. Is this ZVP? Excuse me? What is happening here? Okay. 23 mutas and 22 corruptors. Thank God he made a Thor instead of cyclones. Obviously, I was in the wrong here. Cyclones would have died, and they would have been terrible. Unless you had like 20 of them. But he also only has one Thor, so the point is... Okay, second Thor, looking better. The point is... who the fuck expects this? Who does this? True, please. Command Center goes down to the mutas and the corruptor pits alongside both upgrades, which were about 75% done as well. That hurts me. The mutas are the only thing that actually will attack these Thors. Third and fourth Thor pop out in the nick of time, or is it a magic box on top of unupgraded Thors with +2 attack on those mutas? The SCV's trying desperately to repair, but I think they're actually repairing each other. Those bastards not repairing the Thor. A fifth Thor pops, but it doesn't actually matter. Oh my god, Thors they're gonna lose. Mutas are gonna win this game. That's so stupid. Battlecruisers are trying to make this like a base race, I guess. Wait, do Battlecruisers win against that? No, because of the Corruptors. If it was only the Mutas, I think the Battlecruisers might win. But there's still a bunch of Corruptors. He's trying to build Widow Mines. He's trying to build armories again, to even build Thors in the first place, but he's built like 1 billion missile turrets, and now he realizes that's what he has to do. So 4 more come down here, but I'm talking more, man. You have 800 minerals, build more missile turrets, and hope that your battlecruisers really and truly force the base race. Hatcheries are down, extractors left alive, and that will count if we're talking about last building standing. That the drone lines are being taken down. True down to his last 100 minerals and last 100 gas. Muta's trying to take on all the missile turrets without the corruptors who have gone back home to deal with this. Teleport out, teleport out, teleport out. Little late on that. They can help now against the mutas, and that's exactly where they teleported to. But the mutas are going to leave. At least a couple of Yamatos maybe could have gone down. 3 mutas, but that's better than nothing. Hellions going to try and take on more drones. 27 drones to 49 SCVs. Main base is completely gone. All production gone. Tasia forced to replace that elsewhere. So that's where his minerals and gas have gone to, but also has a decent number of missile turrets. I would love for him to also get one of the building upgrades. Either high side auto tracking or building armor. I guess building armor would be better. I'm not actually 100% sure in the situation, but I think it would. But that's not important right now. It's important to the battlecruisers going down to the mutas and corruptors, both missile turrets, though. Jesus, there's so many of them. And they will target the mutas, hopefully by priority. I'm not actually sure how that's going to work, but it doesn't really matter. My question has been answered just because True disassociated his mutas from his corruptors. So they lost the war to the right side, and corruptors are still losing the war to the left side because there's just so many fucking damn missile turrets. Good God. That's exactly what Tasia needed to do, though. It's working out. Repairing the missile turret's working as well, just barely, but it's working. He's not targeting the planetary. He's trying to get care of the missile turrets, and it isn't working. The last few mutas come in to try and take care of an entire Terran base, but that's really not going to work. 30 mutas? Yes, absolutely. 7 mutas? 10 mutas? Nope. 1 missile turret holds the line on this planetary, and even if this planetary went down, we're still talking about this base being saturated in the future, and this base actually being fully saturated right now as I speak. And 2 extra orbitals. Look at that. Look at that. I'm so damn happy as a Terran player that this bullshit tech swap didn't work. Because I know if it did, there'd be so many people on ladder doing this to me, and I would have 100% died. GG. Tasia takes game number 1. What a weird game that was. That's a true game right there. That's truly a true game. Thank you very much, Basher Slice, for the 2-month resub. I enjoyed your replay. I'm currently being surrounded by cats, so I got a cat right here. I got a cat right here. Ziggy can be cute when he does this, but he also blocks my mouse. It is finally game number 2. In the top left, there's the red Zerg. He is True. And in the bottom right, as the blue Terran, it is Liquid Tasia. Barely holding on last game to a super weird swap. He's very fortunate he had 2 Thors and was building more Thors, and also had a buttload of minerals from expanding so well to build that many missile turrets. If the Thors weren't there, it snowballs a lot faster. If the minerals aren't there, obviously he doesn't hold on to his third or fourth ores production, and he might actually straight up lose the game. But thankfully, he had enough minerals and already a lot of missile turrets to begin with from the earlier engagements to have like 16 missile turrets, and that was enough. Meta swaps are infuriating for anyone to deal with. ZVZ, ZVP, ZVT, it doesn't matter. They're infuriating because they will work in all of those matchups and in really dumb ways. Killed 50 workers with my roaches, but you have 10 mutas and I didn't build enough spore crawlers? Damn it. Feels bad. So there's got to be a bit of a feeling of righteousness, like justice in the world for Tasia when he actually ended up winning that. I wouldn't peg him as a player that really gets tilted or affected, except that he gets affected in the overall atmosphere of StarCraft 2. I wouldn't say game to game, but if he thinks something is not balanced, say TVP, he will kind of let you know through his games. He will proxy, he will do all-ins, he'll kind of throw away games, to be honest. But game to game, there's a reason he was a champion for so long. I don't think he actually gets tilted. And it also might help that they're friends. Thankfully, Crank has been translating a little bit for us. SCV to scout any early shenanigans, which I think is very called for against a guy like True. Reaper's going to do the rest. And Tasia is, again, following up with a factory. We'll see if he gets a second gas or not. 3CC seems to be kind of coming back into play a little bit, and an easy way to determine if they're going for a 3CC build, like after factory, is if they get a second gas. The more you know. I'm gonna let you guys just watch the Reaper dance while I pet my kittens, because they're so cute. They're so cute. It's a boo-boo. Hey, bouncing cow. And they need lots of love and attention because I'm about to be mean to them. They're not gonna like me in an hour. I'm gonna force them into a cage and take them to a wonderful place, actually. They love my parents' house, but they don't like the car ride. It's definitely one thing I'm jealous of dog owners, is that I've never had a cat. I've had a lot of cats. I've never had a cat that was okay with being put in a carrier or driving. But I've seen and heard of plenty of dogs that are okay with it. Some are shy, some get nervous, and that's sad in its own right, but not quite the same as tearing you up to not be put in the carrier and then meowing the entire 40-minute drive. Anywho. Hellions, Viking, and one of the faster sims that you can get, I assume. We saw Mech, obviously, from Tasia last game. A lot of Battlecruiser openers going to Mech. It's kind of seems like it seems like Zerg players believe it to be the superior way to play, as opposed to one or two Battlecruisers, no Yamato into Bio. But we do still see both options from all the top Terrans, so I don't want to say one's better than the other. But I always predict Mech after the Battlecruiser openers. It doesn't mean it's actually the case, and this is actually not going to be one of the faster sims that you can get. If you don't transfer this off, Stim's already started. If you do transfer it off, Stim's not started. That's A+ analysis right there. It is going to be Banshees, so nothing too weird. No fusion core going down. Roach Warren is on the way, but in a time... His third base is just really late, actually. It's like, the timing looked so weird because his third base wasn't done. But looking at the actual clock, that's a kind of a normal time for Roach Warren defensively. And it's also super saturated in the natural because his third was so late. I guess Nightshade's third base is not that easy to take, and the SCV did a great job of blocking it. And if you were to transfer the drone line, I mean, make sure they don't get scouted by the Hellions or they're going down. Dog's not down with it, but he doesn't need to be in a cage to be in a car. Yeah, that's the other thing. I've met very few people who have properly trained their cats to be on a leash or be calm. That's it. I mean, that's exactly why. Like, I feel like if a dog gets off the leash and I yell, the dog will recognize that I'm serious and like frantic, and they'll come back, even if they're not particularly well behaved. Because this has happened once to me. But a cat would just be like, whoa, what the fuck? And then it would like run away even faster. Yeah, I'm talking about you guys. That's right. Yeah, and some dogs just straight up love going for rides in the car. Never had a cat done that. Ooh, okay, a little bit weirder here. Banshee's mech factory's on the way, as well as the little pinwheel. They're gonna have, you know, people blowing on their spinny things, and that makes them faster. Vroom vroom. As well as into Cyclone mech as well. So, True would love to get a scout on this. There are two things that are making this a atypical game. Otherwise, if you just see mech, if you just think Banshees, there's a lot of different pacing that goes differently, right? With Banshee speed, you gotta be more careful with the queens on the front line. You gotta be more careful about the little fringes of your bases. You got to be careful about your actually army composition. You can't stick on just roaches as long as maybe you would want to. Not that that's what True's doing. He does have a Spire on the way. And if it's Cyclone mech as opposed to tank mech, then you're talking about a lot earlier aggression and pushes. And this one is already starting. Upgrades, once again, maybe a little delayed, but in favor of the double upgrades. So this, that, or the other, whatever. Cyclone's going to be looking for a creep cleanup initially. The more creep they clean up, the more options to surprise attack a hatchery they have. Suddenly they lock onto a hatchery, 10 seconds, and it's dead, where you're supposed to be given advance notice as a third player with creep spread. True gets a fourth base finally up, well, about halfway up. I didn't actually do that, my cat did that. Ugh, there you go. But it works out, thanks for zooming for me, Ziki. That's a lot of Hellions. Only one Cyclone. Banshees do not have speed quite yet, but there's only two of them, so they can't actually tackle the queens. Roach number is definitely enough to take care of this many Cyclones, because there's literally one. Scan reveals the Spire in the natural. Now, what is that Spire for? That might have been a possible Muta thing if he had seen tanks, but he saw Cyclones. I don't think he would have thought it was battlecruisers, but maybe he did as well. Eventually, it can go to Greater Spire, obviously. I'm just wondering what it is going to do for him right here, right now. Corruptor's unfortunately a little slow to actually tackle Banshees with speed, so it's not usually a counter. Unfortunately, neither really are Mutas. While Mutas are fast enough, the real rub of dealing with Banshees with speed is that Overseers aren't as fast as them. So, they're tricky. They're very tricky. But it's also tricky to hold against a bunch of roaches with Cyclones if you are not with a lot of room. And the more defensive you are with Cyclones, the more room you do not have. Fortunately, with the Hellbat numbers being as big as they were, turning into Hellbats, they were able to provide quite the little buffer there. On top of the 4 Banshees, just hammering away from above with nothing to stop them. This is where Mutas or Corruptors would have been fantastic, because you've drawn the Banshees into you and are forcing them to take an engagement. As it is, a lot of Hellions went down, but that is minerals that is easily replaced. I'd say that's a pretty good trade for Teju, who kept 3 bases going on to 4 alive and kept most of his Cyclones alive. Banshee's still alive as well, but now we do actually have that Muta transition, because that's what True does, apparently. Even when the situation doesn't usually call for it. If you get enough Cyclones, they'll take on Mutas, especially if they're able to micro around them. If they're immediately ransacked and you don't micro at all, then they're not so good. But you need Cyclone numbers to be higher than this, because True's going to have like 20, 30 Mutas with +1 if he gets his way. So that's also where Thors would come in handy. We do not have any Thors on the way. Fusion Core, though. Eventual battlecruisers, I guess. Thinking very long term. And 2-2 upgrades with a priority on that air. So yeah, battlecruisers. But battlecruisers slow to produce and not necessarily that great against Mutas and low numbers. Well, more so that the Muta number is going to be so absurdly high, a single battlecruiser or 2 won't be enough. That's a better way to put it. It's a dumb looking engagement because battlecruisers have that high armor, but Mutas would eventually win. They still have not been scouted, by the way. Like, he knows there is the possibility of Mutas, but who goes Mutas once it's scouted? Who goes Mutas this late in the game? Who goes Mutas against someone who has Cyclones? True does! Look at that. Look at all those mutas you didn't think were going to be made. 24 mutas with the Lings around on top of the Cyclones is just beautiful for the Zerg player and ends the game in less than like 10 seconds. Cool. Tech swapping to win the game. Just Zerg things. Yeah. Thank you, Little Wolf, for the 100 bits. Someone in chat said, well, Terran can tech switch too. It's not just Zerg. Well, that's just false. Hey, did you come into Cheese this weekend? Nope. I'll expand on that in a second. We're on Eternal Empire. On Eternal Empire. Lots of vowels to go together there. And it is tied up 1-1. I'm not going to choose Philadelphia. I'm actually going to visit my family in Colorado. And honestly, even if I wasn't visiting family, Cheeseadelphia is something that I'd love to work the event and see my friends and cast StarCraft and all that stuff, but oh boy, it's a real passion thing, man. Like, it's not that you're getting paid very much or at all. In fact, last time I lost money because I had to pay for hotel and rent and gas and all that. But it's also like a long drive or plane flight or whatever, so even when it's actually in Philadelphia, it's still a long drive for me. So, yeah. Don't expect me to choose Philadelphia, I guess is the way I'm going to put it. Fear Dragon would apparently, like, spend millions of dollars just to cast any NA StarCraft, so he's the true passion lord there. Me, I'm a little more like, you know, I'd like everything to be, I don't know, like covered, I don't know, Anyways, the pool first, Sixling's already on the way, and no SCV scout this time from Tasia, unfortunately for him. Scouted that last game, not this game. They can tech switch, it just takes a few minutes, like 5 minutes, because they have to get barracks instead of factories or vice versa, and the upgrades that are associated with them. Oh, he does have his SCV scout. This wasn't as early as I thought it'd be. Well, that's very fortunate then. He sees no creep spread and knows that's enough to say the Reaper stays at home. That's enough to say the Reaper stays at home! Okay, so he's gonna try and spine the Lings. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game to play. He doesn't find the Lings because they're over the right side. But he knows there's Lings somewhere. You don't do this and not make Lings. SCV Scout in the main is very helpful. Already sees there's not being gas mined, so that kind of gives him a hint. It could still be a gigantic Ling swell, I guess? No, not even then, actually. You don't have enough larvae to do it. So yeah, just seeing the gas not mining means there's no Roach Warren, and you don't have to worry as much. Sad face. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a little bit too inconvenient. I would have gone this time. It's been a while since I've gone. I would have gone this time if it wasn't exactly when I was going to go visit family. And initially, it wasn't even. Initially, I was, like, not signed on. There's no contracts. But I was like, yeah, I'll definitely cast it. And then they were like, oh, we had to move the dates. How's this? And I was like, well, that's coincidentally the one date I can't do. Anyways. Handling production, starports. We'll see what the tech lab is for. True, just recovering from the earlier Ling waste, almost. I mean, his Lings didn't do anything in terms of stalling out the command center, and they didn't stop scouting either, so Tasia got a full scout, feels very confident. Loses the Reaper, way to go Lings, but it was a pretty effective opener there for Tasia, just because the SCV scouted. That simple little thing changes it a lot. And it is a Viking into a Banshee. I guess Tasia just likes mech right now. You know, True hasn't gotten Overlord speed at all, have they? Ooh, thank you very much, Mall Security 3, for gifting a sub to Alex Penguin. It's their first gifted sub of the channel. Nice. Hopefully that makes you a little less sad. I hope to be doing many events next year, but that remains to be seen. What even are the events? I'll never tell. Fighting is gonna pick up. Wait, how did I not kill that one? Is there a third one? All right, well I thought I was gonna kill that one, but it's gonna get 3 overlords then. Continued Hellion production, cloak, no tech lab, fusion core. It's obviously gonna be mech again, and it is going to be transferring into those battle cruisers post Banshee cloak instead of the speed Banshees, which really did not impact that last game very much. They helped against those roaches, but they did not help against those mutos. Ryder was saying things look better than he expected next year. I like the sound of that. Not that I'm supposed to know anything. Do I know anything? Who knows? I'm not important enough to be talked to. But I've heard through the grapevine that, yes, it actually is looking quite nice. But that's all I'll say. Ooh, Hellions being very dangerous. Very dangerous, risky thing to do, but it is going to be effective. Right into the main base, and he's going to replace his Hellions, no big deal, with his continued factory production. 11 drones, 15 drones go down with the last beautiful lineup of a shot, and the Lings are even scared of dealing with that, since they would be roasty toasty. Now with more Lings, they should get us around on those Hellions, and those Hellions will no longer devastate drone lines, but 15 drones, basically an entire mineral line. That's already a pretty good bargain for 6 Hellions when you're continuing to produce Hellions anyways. Viking looking for more overlords, not gonna do very much. I'm waiting for that battle cruiser. Such a long building unit. It's only halfway done. Oh my god. His Banshee, does it actually have cloak? He canceled cloak. I was gonna say, it's kind of worthless. Roachborn and Spire down at the same time. True clearly knows what's up, even without necessarily scouting it, and he is probably gonna plan for a big old Roach Spire attack. Double upgrades with an upgraded Spire. Build a couple Corruptors, get the Roaches. It's gonna take a little while to get there, but if he keeps his economy good, doesn't lose any more to Hellion run buys, then he can still have a decent attack, but already losing 15 drones is a pretty big bummer because the Hellions really don't matter anymore. Tasia can lose the Hellions and still be producing SCVs. True is just out of 15 drones for 30 seconds, that's it. And now he's even out more drones. 7 go down. Battlecruiser will be weakened up a lot. Oh no, more drone losses in the third base. The Battlecruiser, though, gets sucked back into the Queens. Uh-oh! The AI working against Tasia. 9 drones, not worth the loss of a Battlecruiser. That is devastating. And kind of worth the loss of now 24 drones. Like, I don't want to say it is, but maybe it is. 24 is a lot, but a Battlecruiser also is a lot. I have also heard, haha, unless... Question is, who are we hearing this all from? Who are the puppet masters driving this narrative? We'll never know. But seriously, guys, I feel very good about StarCraft right now.
Resubscription received. Apparently you are doing something right, Captain.
And I'm not just saying that because I want people to hire me, but also I want people to hire me. New WCS Commissioner Zombie Grub? Yes, exactly. I'll be doing WCS next year. Totally. Thank you, Mall Security, for giving another sub, this time to Daj Master, and also a participant of this channel. Thank you for spreading the love. And then a third one to Houseless Gamer, who was around the chat channel all the time. Much appreciated. Love you guys. One's on the way, and Thor's as well. I believe Tasia got a sight on a Spire. Actually, he didn't. He's just assuming it's a Spire. Or actually, I'll put it this way. He doesn't see roaches. If there's no roaches, there's got to be a Spire. And that's something that I didn't even think about. I just kind of assumed there was a Roach Warren, and that was +1 missile for roaches. But where is it? There is a Roach Warren. There's no roaches. Okay. So, yeah, if you don't see roaches being made, you don't have to build tanks. That might mean they're going for mutas. That might just mean they're being greedy. Either way, the safer option by far is to go for Thors. You learn this through many, many trials and errors of dying to surprise mutas because you didn't see roaches yet still built tanks. Yeah. But that scan just confirmed the Spire. He is still building battlecruisers, which I fear will not have an important role to play in the actual engagement, but in a weird way, they might go ahead and force True to overproduce Corruptors as opposed to producing Roaches and Ravagers. Already, 10 Corruptors looking kind of lame just waiting at home. Still no Roaches being built. 86 drone economy for True on 5 bases. He's going to have a max out very, very soon, but he's kind of going all in on Corruptors. And so far is only making Lings, which are by far the easiest thing to deal with, especially if you bother getting Blue Flame Hellions quickly in this game. I believe the first game he didn't get that quick because he didn't really need it, but this one's a perfectly well-timed one, and it's going to help a lot against only Lings. It's not even Banelings. What is True doing? True's got to be making sure that he's winning the air game so he can swap the mutas, right? But all Tasia has to do is actually build Thors and maybe, like, Widow Mines as well, and not get sucked into that trap again. True, seriously though. What are you... True. Stop it. Okay, well, third battlecruiser is on the way. 2-2 for the ground army as well, not the air like last game. Corruptors now going to make their way out as the teleports available for battlecruisers. They're coming over to the right side to do some damage. They're scouted by a couple Lings, unfortunately, and Tasia will know he'll have to skedaddle. He will have to. He will have to. He eventually will. The Corruptors actually go the wrong way. Never mind. No teleport necessary. Blue Flame Hellions looking very nice against the Lings as they get into the natural base. It's going to be a lot of lost drones. Scouting the continued use of the Spire. Finally scouting some Roaches. That took forever. And True only now is finishing up an Infestation Pit. Probably could have been on Hive a while ago. But what an absolutely weird passive game. Tasia freely gets to 4 bases. Is now on his way to a 5th and a 6th. He's able to defend against, well, non-existent pressure. And now that he knows that Aspire is continuing to be used, he can continue building Thors just in case that Muta thing happens again. His tank count is a little low. Roaches did eventually pop, and that's, you know, maybe a little scary, but now with the help of the Planetary. The Roaches go all in on the Planetary alongside the Corruptors, and with the Corruptors' help, they will get it. But a lot of Roaches will die in the process. A couple of Corruptors as well to the Yamatos. Was that actually worth for 400 minerals? Well, more because it was planetary, I guess. But this command center even was building during that. This SCV did not give 2 craps about it. I'm just like, I'm doing my job. Thanks. I'm doing my job. Appreciate it. I listened to your stream enough. I should give back something. Thank you very much for thinking that way. There is a shocking number of douchebags who will post proudly that they don't give anything to the free entertainment they watch day to day, and it's like, why boast about it at the very least? Like, why? Anyways, you're the opposite of that. You're a great person. Drones once again going down, even transforming these guys into Hellbats because he got the transformation servos, so it makes them extra effective against spine-crawlered bases. But far more important is the engagement happening here. Battlecruiser is forced to teleport out. One does go down, but now the Corruptors yet again looking a little bit useless. They helped take care of the Planetary last time. They're going to be looking to take care of the Command Center this time. But unsieged tanks and Thors taking care of the ground army and the air army. If SCVs could repair the Command Center, it probably would have lived. A little bit late to that, though. Makes it a little more awkward, but 2 command centers are still on the way. Tasia's not losing that much army to do this, so he has plenty of minerals to replace bases. In fact, one of his bases is actually being put down here. That was like a backup base. But there's True's true goal. 35 meters on the way with +2 attack, about to have +1 carapace. But this time they're up against 2-2 Thors, not 1-1, and not an insignificant number of Thors either. Does Tasia realize what's going on? Does he realize True's going to do that thing again and true it all up? There's not that many missile turrets. There's no more Thors on the way. No Widow Mines are placed down. I am scared for Tasia. He's going to have a lot of bases, but he's going to be losing 1 or 2 and corralled into his own an even more turtly mech with this many mutas. And here they come. Well upgraded, too. That's kind of scary. Both together, they maybe don't look like that much, but once they spread out, you realize that is a hell of a lot of mutas. Thors come in, Battlecruisers come to respond as well. Yamatos will guarantee a kill on one muta apiece, but the fusion core even gets targeted down. Missile turret basically gets one shot, and no thank you. I don't want 3-3 on those Thors. No thank you. Takes those down instantly. Denied, while True is getting up to 3-3-3 on all of his attacks. I don't think I've ever said that sentence before. One Thor is like, I can do this. It really can't. Second Thor is going to try and help out. It's actually helping a decent amount with the missile turrets as well. Lots of these mutas very low. True, perhaps a little too cocky as he ran through the natural main, third, fourth, and fifth of Tasia, but he's grabbing a lot with these mutas, even as they slowly go down, and that's health. They're not actually getting killed, and that is a problem. They regen health so much, they'll be back again 20 seconds later. 44 SCVs have been killed, tanks have been killed, missile turrets have been killed, upgrades have been killed. The one thing that wasn't really killed, to be honest, was the army, though. And Tasia is looking for some revenge. True has a bit of a bank, and he will continue to have a bank even as he loses drones, because he did not lose that many mutas. As low as they were, as much as I wanted 2 Thors to pop them with a javelin, but it didn't happen. True will continue to bank up, still on 6 bases as well, with this one building up. It's looking grim. How does Tasia actually bring this one back? He still has the army. Like that I want to make clear, so that's still good. They have 7 Thors, 5 battlecruisers, but no more tanks, so a ground swap could be devastating. Battlecruisers, though, will take a lot of shots, even from well-upgraded mutas, because at least they have the plating upgrade. And they're doing a damn good job against the mutas, too. Surprisingly good job. Missile turrets helping out as well. Thors come into play. The Roaches are a little scared with the combination of units there, and are going to go ahead and retreat. And just looking to do more damage than natural and main. Main base has all that production, and it's looking juicy to take down. Yamato's once again taking out 2 mutas. Armory, okay, that's going to be denied. He more so needs armories to build Thors than he needs them for the upgrades at this point. That the Roaches have been cleaned up. More SCVs went down with 5 orbitals. No, 4 orbitals? A lot of orbitals. He's still at 47 workers with lots of mules to call down. Quick scan on this base reveals it's still not taken, but that is because True's more so taking the right side of the map. He's also going into Tunneling Claws and Burrow, and he's kind of doing like, if there was a way to Protoss as a Zerg, I feel like this would be it. You know what I mean? Like, that Protoss really Protossed me. No, this Zerg really Zerged me. This is like all the bullshit Zerg shit. 4 orbitals, there we go. Looks like the muta count was significantly cold. A couple of door shots here and there. Battlecruisers getting on top of them with the Yamatos. So down to 11 from what was at one point like 27, 30, something like that. But it's also because True has gone back into the ground production. He's trying to tech swap his way to victory, and it's almost working. Almost. Ling to the wraparound on the Thor, but it's the Thor plating versus the upgraded Ling, still sort of effective for the Thors. Battlecruisers are taken down by the Corruptors, finally doing their job. Remember when there was 10 kind of useless Corruptors at minute 8 just hanging around? They finally take care of those Battlecruisers, take them out of the equation, but Tasia is also tech swapped, quote unquote. He's just stopped building Battlecruisers. It's not happening anymore. Didn't even bother rebuilding the Fusion Core. Just gonna go for tank, Thors, and Hellions. A Raven, which is an odd choice, but I think he maybe noticed that the Roaches do have that graphical upgrade. Either he noticed because they were burrowed, or he actually pays attention. Me? I would never expect to see Tunneling Claws in this matchup. They could literally grow a second Roach on top of them, and I'd be like, well, that seems about right. But maybe he noticed. So he's got Widow Mines, he's got missile turrets, he's got tanks, he's got defense against this, and is looking to actually kind of level out here. It looked so devastating when 40 mutas came in, but this is looking better and better. Tanks taking care of the Roaches on the ground, even as they take down a couple of Thors. It's no longer about the Thor count. True could maybe go back into mass muta if he thinks the Thors aren't being replaced, but that'd be awfully dangerous to do, and he won't be able to do that every single time he's in a rut. I wouldn't think so, but maybe if he continues expanding. His air army also about to have 2-2 upgrades to Tasia's 3-3 on the ground, with that 3 in the air, but no longer really mattering. A Raven for anti-armor missile is, I mean, it's awfully useful. It'll detect the burrowed Roaches, but anti-armor missile is helpful. It's just one of those things that, like, you never say, don't get anti-armor missile. You know, it's just really effective. but more so you don't usually bother producing Ravens as expensive as they are, having a tech lab on the starport, and you also just kind of assume they're going to die really quickly. So if he uses Ravens effectively, I just have, you know, nothing but kudos there for Tasia if he does that. Is that a new unit? I know, this matchup it is. Lings and Ravagers and Corruptors, oh my, all fully upgraded on their attacks, by the way, so those are kind of scary Lings. But soon enough, the mech army will also be fully upgraded, and I gotta say, mech's fully upgraded, a little bit scarier than this. At this point, we're usually talking more so about Broodlord and Fester as being the Zerg way of Zerging someone. But True? No. True's only just now getting to that Greater Spire. But that's very tricky to do nowadays. It was tricky to do even before the patch. If you weren't in a comfortable position with, you know, Stag Defense and Spore Crawlers and Spellcasters and Creep Spread, diving towards Broodlords was already kind of a bad option. If they figured it out, they built Thors, and you were in a bad time. Now it's even worse. Now you really have to be prepared. You really have to be good with your Broodlords and your Spellcasters and your Creep Spread and all that, because Thors are even more effective against the Broodlords. Broodlord's leash range was fixed. It was a bug that just lasted forever. It was fixed, so it's not nearly as easy to micro them. And it was also the Thor's single target being faster with less damage, which results in better DPS overall, and more mobility for the Thor as well. So I'm not feeling so confident about this Broodlord transition, but what about the ground army? It's trying to kind of force some weird games here. Base race would be a great way to try and mix things up if the army isn't winning the fight. But even as the natural goes down, I don't see much army left over. And that's a problem because Tasia's army is still alive and well, attacking into the left side of the base. He lost a command center, but he has extra. He lost SCVs, but he has extra. He also lost supply depots. He doesn't have any extra of those. He will need to remake those. But he'll notice soon enough. Hatchery goes down. True still has this base and probably should have taken this base. Now he does it. 10 Broodlords on the way, 7 Infestors, but I do not see Pathogen Glands. Okay, he does have that. I don't see Neural Parasite. And that's far more important. Fungals are not going to be effective against a ground-based mech army. Against Vikings, hey, that's fantastic. You do you. But against Thors, the Infestors don't help. They don't. Neural Parasite, though. That'll change things. But no Neural Parasites here. Tasia, still respecting the amount of remaxes he's been able to face. He's like, okay, maybe he remaxed again. And it's true. True did remax again. Just not on a very speedy army. He's about to show his true army right here, right now, as a poor Thor is caught. Order Mines are gonna, yep, splash damage your own units. Way to go, guys. That's the reason you lose Thors. Order Mines and tanks. Can you please explain the idle time stat for game, maybe? It just means that how many times they weren't doing anything? I actually have no idea. It's not a very important number, so I never cared about it. Now, True is doing something a little bit dangerous. He is putting himself into the mercy of Tasia's concave if he continues forward here. He gets on top of the production, which is a death sentence a lot of time for Terrans. But that means if he has to retreat, he's retreating into a concave that Tasia can pre-set up, and that's what I'm worried about. True's army is slow and then slower, so it kind of gets disjointed very easily. Caught by a couple of Thors, it could be devastating. But Tasia started to march across the map. He realized he wasn't really getting much done. He was forcing the withdrawal of the Zerg army, keeps most of his main base alive. That's the good news. He's trying to go back into battlecruisers as well, and I don't know if I agree with that decision. Battlecruisers, you need to be at a decent number or the Corruptors will overpower them. And now, finally, we're talking about Neural Parasite. True has a very truly scary late game army. And they can Neural Parasite Battlecruisers just as easily as they can Neural Parasite Thors. Cumulative worker breaks? That sounds right. I think that's it. Well, the Battlecruisers look pretty good. 4 Battlecruisers taking on the Roaches and Ravagers trying to take out his factories. That's a good use of them. As I said, they won't be too useful on the front lines quite yet, but maybe given 6 or 8 Battlecruisers, they'll be a little more useful. A mostly tank-based army coming through here. Neural Parasites on top of the tanks. Actually, I don't... let's see here. Let's see how this works out. There's no Hellbats on the front line of those Thors, so actually it's going to be fine. I think that was a doomed push to begin with, and on top of that, neural parasites, right? Hellbats have to be in front of those Thors or Liberators, or just like tanks unsieged and not neural parasited. But then even if that is the case, neural parasite can take out the Thors from the equation. So it wasn't quite the composition that Tasia wanted, and it wasn't really the attack path he wanted either. Yeah, rip no scan as well. Liberators are usually the go-to option though. Tanks, friendly fire, even if they aren't neural parasited. So Liberators, we often would see transitions into Liberators. You can get to more Liberators faster, and you can get to range Liberators faster, but their range is one less when they're upgraded, which is significant when we're talking about that dynamic of taking out neural parasite. Teleport. Any use of battle cruisers that live is a good use, right? Hatchery also going to be taken out over here as Tasia goes a little bio with his mech. Very small portions of mech trying to take out bases left and right is the best thing he can do right now. 16 drones go down, a base goes down. Meanwhile, Tasia has lost the top right. The original starting point of Liquid Tasia is now dead. It's gone, including the third base. But he has these bases and these factories still pumping here. Almost like a Brood War thing going on. But True has the entire map, even aggressively expanding at this point. Tasia, though, having not been able to produce for a while, does have a huge bank, and given about 60, 120 seconds, he will have an army once again, and hopefully an army that is ideal for taking on what True has. I'm actually shocked that True hasn't won yet, considering how long he's had such a significant supply lead. But now here might be the death push. He's finally made his way over to the top left and being in the top right, and that is truly a death push. GG. True takes a 2-1. Yeah, I mean, it all kind of started with the Muta swap and stuff. I thought he was dead then, but despite living through it, it wasn't like he thrived through it. And that endgame composition is nasty to deal with when you're not getting your perfect game. Why does the music sound so poorly?